There's a moment that happens to almost everyone. You're sitting alone, maybe in your car after work, maybe in the shower, maybe just staring at the ceiling at 2 in the morning. And for a split second, the noise stops. No notifications, no one asking anything from you, no performance required. And in that silence, something uncomfortable surfaces. A question you've been running from. Who am I when no one is watching? Most people don't sit with that question for long. They grab their phone. They text someone. They turn on something loud because the silence is terrifying when you've spent years defining yourself through other people's eyes. But that question, that quiet, terrifying question, is exactly where your real life is waiting for you. Today, we're going into something that Deepak Chopra has spent decades teaching, and that most people hear, but very few actually live. The idea that the greatest act of courage in your life is not doing something extraordinary for the world. It's returning to yourself, fully, without apology, without performing, without waiting for someone else to give you permission to exist on your own terms. This is going to go deep. Stay with me. Think about the last time you made a decision that was purely yours, not influenced by what your partner would think, not shaped by fear of how your friends would react, not adjusted to fit inside what your family considers acceptable, just you, choosing something because it felt true to who you are. How long ago was that? For most people, it takes a while to remember. Some people can't remember at all, and that's not a personal failure. That's what happens when you grow up in a world that trains you from the very beginning to look outside yourself for answers. It starts so early you don't even notice it. You're 3 years old and you fall down, and before you even feel the pain, you look up to see the adult's face. If they look scared, you cry. If they laugh and say you're okay, you bounce back up. You are learning at 3 years old to calibrate your inner experience to someone else's reaction. And that conditioning doesn't stop there. It deepens. Every classroom, every family dinner, every social situation is teaching you the same invisible lesson. Read the room, adjust yourself, keep people comfortable, earn approval. And by the time you're an adult, you've become so good at this that you don't even realize you're doing it. You think you're just being considerate. You think you're just being a team player. You think you're just keeping the peace. But Deepak Chopra would call this something far more serious. He would call it the loss of your internal reference point, and he would say it is the root cause of most human suffering. Here's what that means. An external reference point means your sense of self, your worth, your direction is anchored outside of you. It lives in whether your boss praises you, whether your partner is happy with you, whether people respond well to what you post, whether your choices earn nods of approval from the people around you. When those things go well, you feel okay. When they don't, you fall apart. And you call that your emotional life. But what it actually is a constant state of emotional dependency. You have outsourced your own peace of mind to forces completely outside your control. And here's the brutal thing. You can spend your entire life trying to manage those external forces, trying to be likable enough, impressive enough, agreeable enough, invisible enough, whatever the situation demands, and you will still never feel secure. Because external approval is by its nature unstable. People's opinions change. Moods shift, circumstances evolve, and if your foundation is built on what other people think, then your entire inner world trembles every time the outside world moves. That is not a life. That is survival with better furniture. Now I want to tell you something that might be the most important thing you hear today. The version of you that other people see, the one that adjusts and performs and shrinks and expands depending on who's in the room, that is not you. That is a costume, a very convincing, very sophisticated costume that you've been wearing for so long that you've started to confuse it for your skin. Deepak Chopra teaches that beneath that costume, beneath the personality you've constructed, beneath the roles you play, there is something untouched. He calls it pure consciousness, pure awareness. The part of you that is watching your thoughts right now, not the thoughts themselves, but the quiet, steady presence behind them. That part of you has never needed anyone's approval. It has never been insecure. It has never been incomplete. It simply is. And the whole spiritual journey, stripped of all its complexity, is just this: learning to live from that place instead of from the costume. But let me bring this out of the abstract for a moment, because I know how easy it is to nod along to beautiful ideas and then go right back to refreshing your notifications the second the video ends. I want you to think about one specific person in your life, someone whose opinion of you carries enormous weight. Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a partner, maybe it's a friend you've known for years. Maybe, and this one stings, maybe it's someone you don't even like that much, but for some reason, their perception of you still controls how you feel about yourself. Got someone in mind? Good. Now ask yourself honestly, how much of your behavior, your choices, your words, even your silences, are shaped by what that person thinks of you? How many things have you not done, not said, not become, because of the imagined reaction on their face? That is the weight you are carrying. That is what Deepak is asking you to put down. And I know the fear that comes up when you even consider it, because the fear isn't just what will they think. The deeper fear is, if I stop performing for them, will they still love me? Will they still stay? And underneath even that is the oldest fear of all. If I stop being what everyone needs me to be, will I still belong anywhere? That fear is real. I'm not going to minimize it, but I want you to look at it clearly, because that fear is the exact reason you've been living someone else's life. That fear is the jailer, and the only way out is to understand something that sounds simple, but will take your breath away if you actually let it land. You cannot lose love that is real by being real. Read that again slowly. You cannot lose love that is real by being real. If the people in your life can only love the performance, they were never loving you. They were loving the role you played for them. And staying in that role, shrinking yourself to maintain relationships that were never truly about you, that is one of the loneliest things a human being can do. Because you are surrounded by people and still completely alone, because no one actually knows you. Deepak talks about this with such clarity. He says, when you live from an external reference point, your relationships are built on a kind of mutual fiction. You perform your role, they perform theirs, and you call it connection. But real connection, the kind that actually nourishes you, that can only happen between two people who are willing to show up as they actually are. Unedited, unpolished, without managing the other person's emotional response to their truth. That kind of connection is rare, and it becomes possible only when you decide that knowing yourself matters more than being liked. Now here is where everything shifts. Here is the moment I want you to feel, not just understand. There is a version of your life that exists on the other side of this decision. A version where you wake up in the morning and the first thought in your head is not about what anyone else thinks. A version where you make choices from your gut, from your values, from the quiet knowing inside you that has always known who you are and what you're here for. A version where criticism lands but doesn't destroy you, where praise feels good but doesn't own you, where you walk into a room and you are not scanning it for threats, not calculating how to be received, not adjusting your energy to manage everyone else's comfort. You just walk in as yourself, steady, present, free. That version of you already exists. It has always existed. It's just been buried under decades of conditioning that told you it wasn't safe to be that person. And the path back to it is not dramatic. It doesn't require you to blow up your life or cut everyone off or move to an ashram. Though sometimes the ashram sounds tempting, it requires something much quieter and much harder. It requires you to get still enough, consistently enough, to hear yourself again. Deepak's practice of meditation is not about emptying the mind. It is about creating enough silence that you can begin to distinguish your own voice from the chorus of everyone else's voices that have taken up permanent residence in your head. Most people have never experienced that distinction. They believe the voice that says you're not enough, you're too much, you're doing it wrong. They believe that voice is them. It is not them. That voice is the accumulated weight of every disapproving look, every critical comment, every moment someone made you feel like you needed to be different in order to be loved. That voice is the costume talking. And meditation, even 5 minutes of sitting quietly and simply watching your breath, begins to separate you from it. But beyond meditation, there is something even more immediate that you can do right now, today, that will begin to change everything. Stop explaining yourself. Not to be cruel, not to be cold, but because the habit of over-explaining your choices to everyone around you is one of the clearest signs that you are still living from an external reference point. Every time you justify why you said no, why you changed your mind, why you're doing things differently, why you need space, why you made the choice you made, you are asking for permission. You are submitting your life to a panel of judges and waiting for their verdict. And the more you do it, the more you train yourself to believe that your choices are not valid until someone else approves them. You do not need a reason that other people understand. You are allowed to choose things simply because they feel true to who you are. That is not selfishness, that is self-respect. And there is an enormous difference between the two. Selfishness is taking from others for your own gain without regard for their well-being. Self-respect is honoring what you know to be true about yourself, even when it's inconvenient for everyone around you. One diminishes others. The other actually makes you more available to them. Because when you stop abandoning yourself to keep everyone comfortable, you stop accumulating the resentment that quietly poisons every relationship you're in. Here is the paradox that Deepak returns to again and again. And it is one of the most counterintuitive truths in all of personal development. The more grounded you are in yourself, the better you become for everyone around you. Not despite your self-focus, because of it. When you are no longer looking to other people to fill the emptiness inside you, you stop placing impossible emotional demands on them. When you are no longer performing for their approval, you are actually present with them. When you are no longer managing their perception of you, you can actually see them, not as mirrors for your own self-worth, but as full human beings with their own inner worlds. That is when real intimacy becomes possible. That is when love stops being a transaction and becomes a choice. That is when friendship stops being a support group for mutual validation and becomes something genuine and deep and rare. But none of that is available to you while you are living inside the prison of other people's opinions. None of it. You can have all the relationships in the world and still be desperately lonely if the person showing up in those relationships is a carefully managed version of you rather than the real thing. So let's talk about what this actually costs you, not in some abstract spiritual sense, but in the currency of your actual finite, irreplaceable life. Every hour you spend replaying a conversation, trying to figure out if you said the wrong thing, is an hour you will not get back. Every decision you delayed because you were waiting for someone to tell you it was okay is a moment of your own authority that you handed away. Every version of yourself you suppressed to fit inside someone else's comfort zone is a piece of your actual life that you did not live. These are not small things. These are your days. These are your years. These are the chapters of the only story you will ever get to tell from the inside. Deepak Chopra once said something that I think about often. He said, "The most creative act you will ever undertake is the act of creating yourself. Not the self that was assembled by everyone else's expectations, the self that emerges when you get quiet enough to ask what is true for me. What do I actually believe? What do I actually want? Who do I actually want to become?" Most people never ask those questions seriously. They get to the end of their lives still living inside the answers that other people provided for them decades ago. And the tragedy, the real tragedy, is not that they failed to achieve great things. The tragedy is that they never found out what they were truly capable of because they never gave themselves permission to find out. You are watching this right now for a reason. Something in you is ready. Something in you is tired of the performance. Something in you knows that there is a version of your life that is more honest, more alive, more yours than the one you've been living. And that part of you deserves to be listened to. So here is what I want to leave you with. Not a list of steps, not a productivity hack, just this. The next time you catch yourself adjusting who you are to manage someone else's reaction, pause. Just for a second, and ask yourself, what would I do, say, choose, if no one's opinion mattered right now, not forever, just right now? What would feel true? And then, just once, do that thing, say that truth, make that choice. Not because it's comfortable, but because you are tired of being a stranger to yourself. That is the practice. That is what Deepak is pointing to, not a destination, a direction, a daily, quiet, courageous return to who you actually are. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. You don't need to earn your way back to yourself. You just need to stop walking away. If something in this video moved you, if it cracked something open, if it made you think of someone you need to share this with, please do. And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is the moment, not because of an algorithm, but because if this kind of conversation is what you're looking for, there is so much more coming. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell. And then, before you do anything else, leave a comment below with one word, just one word that describes how you feel when you are being completely, unapologetically yourself. I want to see what that word is for you. I'll be reading every single one. Take care of yourself. I mean that, and I'll see you in the next one.